One of the biggest moments when learning React is when your components stop being static and finally start reacting to user interaction. And that's exactly what the useState hook helps us do. In this video, we're going to learn what useState actually is, why React needs it, and how to use useState to make your applications interactive step by step with practical examples inside VS Code. And if you enjoy practical front-end content like this, make sure to like the video and subscribe. And without further ado, let's get into the code. So before we even write useState, let's understand the problem it solves. So I'm going to build a simple counter here, and then I'm going to explain each part. So let's make it. Alright, so this is our counter. Initially, we have a count variable with the value 0, and for the return of this component, we are returning a div, and inside this div, we have a title with the value of the counter, and a button that will increment our counter every time the user clicks on the button. And let me show you the CSS. In here, I am resetting the margin and padding of all the elements of this project. I'm setting a font family Arial for the project as well, and a box sizing border box. And for the body, I added the padding because I don't want our content to be so close to the borders of our project. Now I'm going to click on the increment button and you're going to see what's gonna happen. So 1 time, 2 times, 3 times. And now if I right click the page and click on inspect, if we go into our console tab, you're going to see these logs, the values 1, 2, and 3. But why isn't this value updating on the screen? So what's happening here is interesting because the value actually changes in the console, as you can see here, but the UI itself does not update, and this is one of the most important things to understand in React. Changing a normal variable does not automatically update the screen, because React only re-renders components when state changes. That's exactly why the useState hook exists. So now let's replace this with the proper React way. So first, I'm going to import useState here, so you can write import useState from React. I'm going to close this Explorer section so we can have more free space here. So let's switch this count to a const, and inside square brackets count and then set count. It receives a useState 0 inside the parentheses. We can remove these 2 lines and add a set count here, doing a count plus 1. And now when I click the button, the UI updates automatically, so I can click twice, 3 times, 4 times, 5 times, as many times as you want. And every click changes the state because React re-renders the component and the new value appears on the screen instantly. And honestly, this is the core idea behind the state in React. State is basically data that can change over time and affect what the user sees on the screen. Now let's quickly break the syntax down because I know it can look strange at first. So this part here, the count, is the current state value. Then setCount is the function React gives us to update that value. So with this guy, we can update the current value of our counter. And this is a naming pattern, so this will be called set and the word that you defined for the current value. So if this was called book, this would be set book. If this was named pets, then this would be set pets, and so on. And inside this useState 0, the 0 is simply the initial value. So when the component loads for the first time, count starts at 0. So I'm going to refresh the page, and now I'm going to change this to 5 and refresh the page again. And as you can see, the initial value is 5. I'm going to return to 0. And yeah, this is how you can define a default value for the useState. One important thing to understand is that whenever a state changes, React re-renders the component. And that's one of the reasons React feels so dynamic. The UI always reflects the current state automatically. Now let's make this a little more practical because counters are useful for learning, but real applications use state for much more than numbers. To practice a little more, we are going to build a dark mode toggle. So now let's build the structure of our component. Inside here, we can define a useState with the value isDark and set isDark. It receives a useState with a default value false. And yeah, in here you can pass numbers, strings, booleans, arrays, objects, any data you want. And then we are going to return return a div, and inside this div we'll have a h1 with a condition. If it is dark, we will return dark mode, else light mode. If you're not familiar with this expression, it's basically a simpler way to use if and else in JavaScript. And if the condition is fulfilled, it's gonna return what is after the question mark. And if the condition is false, then the right value is going to be returned. Now we can add a button here with the value toggle theme, and we add an event on click. We are going to call this method setting is dark to true. Actually, we are going to toggle this. If it was true, it's going to be false, and if it was false, it's going to be true. So this is basically changing the value like a toggle. And now let's see if this works. Yeah, it's totally working. So every time I click the button, the boolean changes from true to false or false to true. And this exact pattern appears everywhere in React applications. Opening menus, showing modals, switching themes, drop downs, tabs, notifications. All of these things usually involve state. And state is not limited to booleans or numbers. We can store many different types of data inside state. For example, I could store a string like this. I can add a name, set name. The default value is going to be John. After this h1, we can add an h2 and say here, welcome name. So welcome John. This could be an object like const user set user useState with initial object. It has the prop name. It will be Guy and age 39. We can take this user. So please name fight with user.name, but be careful because he is user.age years old. And this is the result. Welcome John. Please John, fight with Guy, but be careful because he is 39 years old. And even though this is a silly thing, I bet that you could actually understand what I meant. This is basically how you learn anything. You understand the concept and you put it in practice with whatever example you want, no matter how silly it is. And yeah, this flexibility is what makes React extremely powerful for building dynamic interfaces. Now let's build something that feels a little more real world. I'm going to create a simple input where the user types their name and React updates the UI in real time. So I'm going to create a form.jsx and let's build this component. I'm going to default export this, call it a form, and the structure is we have a name with a set name and the useState initial value is going to be an empty string. After that, we can return a div, and inside this div we have an input text. We can delete the name and ID for now. We can add a placeholder here and call it type your name. And before we continue, I'm going to remove this dark mode toggle from the app and import our form so we can see the changes almost instantly. And now if we go back to our form, we have to add an onChange attribute here, so it will receive an arrow function. It has an event in the parameter, and I'm going to add inside this set name event.target.value, and below the input we can add an h1 with the message hello name. So initially hello, and after the comma we can see that there is no name here because our state starts with an empty string. But if I type John here, you can see that the name appears and it updates as we type something in the input. If you want, you can add that ternary operation that you learned before. So you can do like this. If there is a name, you can return this h1. So I'm going to cut this and paste here. And if there is no name, we can return a message like, please fill in your name. I'm going to add a bar here. Yeah, it doesn't look so great because I'm not styling these elements, but at least you can get the concepts. So now I'm going to type Paul, and you can see hello Paul. And if I delete this, that's what happens. If you don't want to change the state when the user types every single letter, instead of using onChange, you can use onBlur. So I'm going to delete Paul, and let me show you. So I'm going to type here Mary, and nothing happens. But as soon as we unfocus our input, so if I click on the empty space here, you can see that the message hello Mary appears. Because using onBlur, it will only trigger the set name every time we unfocus the input. Now, one mistake beginners often make is trying to use useState for everything. But not every variable needs to be state. state. A good rule is this: if changing the value should update the UI, then it probably should be state, or if changing it doesn't affect the interface, you probably don't need useState. And before we finish, I want to show you one more example because this is extremely common in real applications. So I'm going to create a component called grocerylist.jsx. Let me define the structure here, and I'm going to comment this form and import our grocery list. And for this component, we have another useState. I'm gonna call it fruits and then set fruits. And now we are going to initialize our list of fruits with banana, apple, strawberry, pineapple, and watermelon. By the way, if you're watching until this part of the video, please write in the comments what is your favorite fruit. And going back into our code, I'm going to return a div, and now I'm going to teach you how to render this list. It's pretty simple actually. You just have to add the curly braces here, and inside this you can write fruits.map, then open parentheses, and inside here you can add an arrow function. The parameters of this function will be fruit and index, and actually the return of the arrow function won't be curly braces, will be parentheses because we are going to return JSX here. It's going to be paragraph. The value will be fruit, and you can see that it is already working, but we are missing something here. If you open your inspect and go to the console tab, you can actually see this error. Each child in a list should have a unique key prop, so every time you use a map in React, every time you are iterating over a list, you need to add this attribute called key, and you have to pass some value here. I'm going to use index this time. So the first paragraph rendered in the list will have the index 0, then 1, then 2, and so on. But in real projects, you're going to use a different key, because if you use index for every list that you render on the page, you're probably gonna face equal keys. And as I said before, they have to be unique. And the reason why I've shown you this map feature in React is because this pattern is everywhere in modern front-end development. A list of products, comments, notifications, users, messages. Most interfaces today are basically dynamic data being rendered on the screen. And that's exactly why useState is one of the most important hooks in React, because it's the foundation of interactivity. If you watched my previous video about React components, let me show you what happens if I try to add a title here. So h2 fruit, and you can see that we get this error. And the answer for this problem is because we are trying to return 2 elements inside this map, but JSX expects 1 parent element. So to fix this, we can add a React fragment and then move these elements inside the fragments. And now if I refresh the page, you can see fruit, banana, fruit, apple, just like we defined here. So have fun writing your own examples. And at the end of the day, useState is what transforms your React components from static pieces of UI into dynamic applications that actually react to user interaction. So once you understand how state works, React starts feeling much more logical because you begin to realize that most interfaces are really just data changing over time. If you enjoyed this video, make sure to like it and subscribe because it helps more than you know, and it lets me know that you want to see more React content like this. Please don't forget, spread knowledge with others because I shared this with you. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.